Hey guys, we are back out this week. I want to talk to you about moving to Florida and the three biggest reasons why you're not ready. Yeah, I know you have these ideas, these wonderful ideas of making a move, maybe moving from somewhere not tropical and want to go tropical. Well, there are three big reasons. These are the biggest reasons that you're probably not ready. And there's something you go through whenever you relocate, no matter where it is. But for Florida specifically, there's some extra nuances that we have, and we're going to go through those one at a time. Make sure that you know exactly what you're getting into. One of the first things you're thinking of is, where in the heck am I even going to move? I mean, I know I want to go to Florida. I'm thinking I want to go to Southwest Florida. I hear that Cape Coral is pretty cool, especially if I'm a boater, but I don't know where to live. How am I going to do that? And what do most people do? They do some researching, right? They start looking around. They start asking questions. Maybe you have relatives that live here. Maybe you don't. So how are you going to get your information? That's the first part of the process. Everybody starts online, don't they? We're going to get into a nuance of that that's really going to help you as we move through this process. But with the current market here in Cape Coral with single family homes, as of yesterday, there were over 3,088 listings currently on the market. And when we're talking about where we're going to live, one of the biggest considerations or concerns is there are so many details to go over. And one of the big details, especially right now, is flooding. We talk about flooding here all the time. And it's just one of those things that, you know, we're in a sand-based place. We get heavy, heavy downpours and obviously get hurricanes. But the heavy downpours are starting to show themselves more and more, making it super important that you really go through checking all the details such as the flooding. I'll show you how we do that in a minute. We're going to do an actual property search very specifically for some clients of mine, Amy and Rich, and we're going to go through some of their struggles and what they're finding here, because even with over 3,000 properties on the market, they can't find one. Yeah, kind of strange, right? Thinking, well, how is that possible? How is it I can't find a property, but there's 3,000 of them there? We're going to get to that in just a minute. So Amy and Rich have a budget. They know what they want, kind of gave us their parameters. And you had heard the other, actually, we'll show you here. We've got single family in Cape Coral. Look at the bottom left, 3,088, 3,088 home options. Okay. And we're going to show you how quickly this gets dialed down to not as much as you think there is. So if you're thinking we have so much inventory, you can wait and sit back and not worry about it. I'll show you otherwise. They actually do want golf access. They want a pool. And we're looking at 3 bedrooms. And their limit is 600,000. And they also want direct access so that they don't have to worry about the height of the bridges. They can get any size boat they want. Now you'll see at this point, it says 24 matches. 24 matches sounds, all right, there's a decent amount there, right? Well, if I told you that they wanted a 2-car garage, that would drop us down to 15 matches. So we're not going to do that for this purpose. We're going to leave that out. We'll leave the 24 there. I'm going to show you where they're located. So all the direct access around Cape Coral pretty much runs around the sides of the city, all, you know, down the east side, the south side, back up the west side, and you'll see where these are located. Now, 2 totally different areas. And one thing in particular you need to know is that this area down here is referred to as the Yacht Club. And there was flooding down here from Ian. Milton might have had a little bit, whatever that third storm was, I don't know. But Ian was the big one, obviously. So when we go through this, it's my job to help them filter through these homes and figure out what makes sense with what doesn't. So they're going to come to me and say, hey, Craig, man, I really, really like that one that's down there on Santa Rosa Court. All right, 1,492 square feet might be a little bit smaller than I recommend. 3-bed, 2-bath matches your criteria. And it's 1,492. Let's see, 1961 build. Not a huge fan of older homes, as you know. If they haven't had any of their code updates, then your insurances are going to be a bit higher. This one does have transferable flood insurance, and they're selling their boat and trailer for $5,000. Okay. Anyway, in here, there's confidential comments for the agents, and in here it basically only mentions about the transferable policy and about the trailer and the boat. So We have another place we want to go. We want to come up here to the top, and there's these little stack of papers called supplements. When you go in here, we got a property disclosure. Property disclosure is going to tell us something we really need to know. Number one is about the structure. Number two is about termites. And number three is about water intrusion. Well, since it was a flooding neighborhood, what do we want to know about? Water intrusion. So you look at 3A, past or present water intrusion affected property. Answer, yes, checked. Same thing with drainage problems. Same thing with special flood hazard area that this is located in. All is yes, yes, yes. So you know you're getting into a flooding situation right out the gate. If that's what you want and you're okay with it, make sure you get your flood insurance policy. You can start a new policy. You don't have to take over the previous one. But if you take over the previous one, there's a cap on increases at 18% for the next policy. At the end of the current policy, when it expires, you have to have a new policy. So their savings sometimes does follow you. Sometimes you do just as well without that prior policy, but know that there's a cap on it. So if you want to take advantage of that, knowing that some of these rates could be higher, I'd say take advantage of it. Anyway, I can't show you on this particular listing, but I am going to move over one and show you right up above here where it says listing, tax, photos, history. It also says flood map. When I click on that, that shows us what the flood map looks like. And in this case, you can see everything is in a flood zone. That's why anything down here in the flood in this yacht club area that is listed, one of the first things you're going to do is look for flooding. Look at this flood map, because you'll see everything down below Cape Coral Parkway is pretty much going to be in that. Anyway, that's a little bit about property searches, how we go about it. I'm going to show you a scatagram here shortly that's going to give further detail on how to know if the pricing is right or not. Well, one other thing, let's go here. Let's check the closed sales. And you'll see that the closed sales, 572, 559, 550, 490, 530. $500,000 to get a home that's Gulf access. That's just ludicrous and crazy. This one at 1658 square feet, 490,000 is where it's sold. And we're going to check real quick. Property condition, flooding. Okay, so you can see that again. You're not going to get away from it. That's just what this whole area was. Hence why you're seeing this pricing the way you are. Let's see if this one's been remodeled, 1351. But look at the inside. I mean, it's clearly been remodeled. And a house that looks like this on the outside will not generally look like this on the inside. This has been completely remodeled. Very quick access out, so that's a wonderful property as far as that goes. The dock is surviving. There's a couple pan roofs that were added on to the roof line. That's a metal roof, but there's some tar versions in the back for the lanai and then the side lanai. But yeah, that's all been remodeled, partially done. As you can see, it's still kind of in a state of disrepair, and the house doesn't match up. It's got old windows. It's got these old floors in the bedrooms. They took care of the bathroom, the kitchen. So that's kind of what to expect in this price range, especially in that area. But this is how we help to pare down the homes. This is how we help to show you what is of interest and shouldn't be of interest, and determine how much effort you want to put in and how much money you want to spend after the fact in rehabbing. But aside from flooding, one of the other things we're looking at is age of home, right? This neighborhood that I'm in right now, this is all older homes, all of them. When you're dealing with older homes, you're dealing with possibly higher insurances. You're dealing with repairs and maintenance issues that'll come along, and you're just going to be running into some further expenses out of the gate that you wouldn't be if it was new construction. Another thing you're going to be looking is proximity. What's it close to? Is it close to the bridges? Because I have to commute to Fort Myers. Is it close to the beaches? Because I really like the beach. Is it close to any kind of water access, i.e. a boat ramp or anything like that? Schools. Is it close to schools? Is it close to the places I like to go to eat? Entertainment. I golf. I golf a lot, so I want to have 6 courses nearby. So all those things are going to be parameters that are going to change what you're going to have available to you. Everybody's always asking about crime, but if you've listened to this channel for any amount of time, you know that Cape Coral is one of the safest cities in the entire state, especially any city that has over 200,000 residents in it, which we do. In Cape Coral, one of the big things is water and sewer and the assessments. Are they in? Are they paid? How long have they been in? Is there a balance due? Is there interest on that? How long is it going to go for? These are all things that you need to know. It all goes to your bottom line. We're always talking about affordability. Well, I'm going to tell you what, affordability is getting easier and easier. We're going to show you an example of a home that you can get for less than the price of rent right now. Okay, we're on to our next recording. This one is of a property that has been on the market for a year. It's $229,000. And it's been cleaned up. Looks livable, right? I know I've had worse rentals than this. So that's what you get picture-wise. Again, 1176 square feet. So it is on the smaller side. 1986, so it's not even close to being our oldest. And let's check the flood map real quick. And it is out of the flood zone. So yeah, you don't have that added expense. Anyway, this particular home, you see the 229 asking price. Again, asking. We can come in here, check the history of the property, and we're going to see that it at one time was at 293 back in June of last year, and it's made itself all the way to 229 a year later. So at that point, we're going to look and see. Here is the PITI. That's the principal, interest, tax, and insurance. So we're not going to be exact, but it's going to be close. So in 2023, the taxes were $3,400, roughly $286 a month. So you can use that as a guideline. Again, this is not going to be exact. We would reach out to insurance companies and get rates. We'd have the lender's information, so all that would come together. But looking at the whole scenario here, there is no flood insurance, so that $126 a month does not apply. So this is going to be high by about $126 for sure. Estimated mortgage payment about $1,315 over the 30 years. And we've got some estimates from Realtor.com at $1,560 and Truly at $1,519. So even if we take all those combined and average them out, you're still in that $1,100-1,500 range. That is perfectly fine for a single family home in Cape Coral. You don't have to rent. You can certainly still buy a property if you choose to. This is just one example. It's not even the cheapest home that's available, but it's one I think that is most livable. The ones that are lower priced, that we had some that were $169, $179, they're not finished. They're unfinished homes. We do have that going on in the area right now. And the insurance money, we already talked about it. Age of home is going to play a part in the insurance. It's going to play a part on where you're located as far as flood insurance goes. It's going to also be predicated on whether you had any improvements to the home or any updates that needed to be done that maybe you did to save yourself on insurance. Now, the second reason you're probably not ready to move is you don't want to pay too much. One of the questions I get that I just don't understand ever is, well, the people that had it before bought it for $500,000, so, you know, they're asking $750 now. That's not right. Well, is that for us to say? If the market is saying $750, that's what the market's saying. Don't predicate your decisions based upon if you think it's right or wrong that somebody makes money. We have to find the property that fits into your budget. It doesn't matter what they paid versus what you pay. It just matters, can you afford it? And is that what the market is saying that property's worth right now? The other thing that happens on this section of it when people don't want to pay too much is they start saying, well, you know, if I have to give up $50,000 on the sale of my home, then I want that $50,000 back when I buy from the other people. So again, you're putting conditions on your ability to buy the next home. You can't do that. That's not the way this works. You do the best you can on both ends of it. Sometimes you're going to get really fortunate. Sometimes you're going to pay a little bit more. But you want the scenario that's going to best fit your particular situation. And it has to be independent of any other transaction. Don't tie them together. And during this same point, a lot of people are saying, well, nobody's buying, so, you know, I can take my time. There's no hurry. You're right, there's no hurry. But as far as paying too much and no buyers, well, Generally, you're going to find a more favorable condition when there's no buyers. So I wouldn't worry so much about that part. This really does come down to the individual home itself and your budget. I don't know if I'm going to buy right now. I don't want to pay too much because the prices are so high. Okay, high compared to what? What are you comparing the high to? Because everybody out there saying that the prices are too high? Do you know how many other places across the country they're saying the prices are too high? Once again, the narrative is out there to fit whatever scenario you want. As far as our pricing goes, are there some homes that are out of line? Oh yeah, we're going to show you that in just a minute. How you should properly price a home. We have Eric actually designed this. It's a scatagram, and what it does is it tells us, based upon square footage and what the market has done for the last 2 years, where is the best price point for this thing to sell, and how long should that take us? Okay, guys, we're going to talk about the scatagram now. Again, this is a way to check values on properties. First of all, you're going to start with the same kind of setup when we're searching properties. So we put in actives, pendings, withdrawals, and closed. The closed goes out for 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. We want to make sure we get a collection of data that really shows the trends so that we know where things should be going. So anyway, single family home is all we're interested in. Right now we're doing no waterfront, no Gulf access, built between 2010 and 2025. This is being comped directly on a home that we have found in the MLS that it struck my attention very fast for one particular reason. And we decided to put this together using the parameters that match the property. So 3-bedroom, 3 in the den, 2 to 3,000 square feet. So all that stuff's there, and there's no pool in this home. So this is the home that started my interest because I see the 656. Now it's 2849 square feet. So a lot of square footage. It's a 2017, 3 days on the market, brand new on the market. And here's what you're looking at. So you get that rose-colored Florida home with the pavers to match. Decent landscaping. What's the one thing that's not on the back here? Anybody can figure that one out? Yeah, comment down below what's missing. Oh, never mind. I'll help everybody out. It's a lanai, a covered lanai. There's no covered lanai. You need a covered lanai in Florida. You need somewhere to sit in the shade, hopefully screened in. But you'll see decent space. Paint colors kind of like Easter eggs. Yeah, it's got good space. It looks clean. In a decent neighborhood. So this is interesting. And it's only interesting because of the fact that it has so much square footage and no pool and the price tag that's on it. And I'll show you why it's interesting. I'm going to jump over here real quick too, that we already did the criteria. I'm going to show you what we see. So when I get these properties and pull them up, there's closed, there's for sale, there's withdrawn. And one of the things you'll notice is the red print that's there on the right. That tells the difference between the list price and the closed price. So all this talk out there about tens of thousands of dollars and these massive discounts and they're giving the homes away for free. No, they're not. So you'll see 22,000, 9,000, 25,000, 7,000, 15, 30, 25, 20, 15. These are all the discounts that people are getting. And on the next page is even worse. There's only one that stood out to me. It's 89,980. Well, yeah, that could be for a number of reasons. It could be one of those flooded homes for all we know. So the point to this is that the discounts are not massive like you're hearing. Looks like 20,000 seems to be the common number. But again, if you're overpriced by 40,000, what's the difference? So those are where the statistics come from. Then we have a little chart here that tells us, well, based upon this information and what's happened in the times leading to this. So in the last 12 months of activity, there's been 13 properties that closed in this area. 2 are under contract, 9 are for sale, and 2 didn't sell. Based upon that, in the next 12 months, there's a 58% chance of that home selling because they're selling at 1.3 a month. So that's about 7 months inventory. And each one of these setups here will give you the different percentages based upon time frame in which you're interested in, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. The actual scatagram is where it gets interesting. You'll see the key at the top. Properties closed is a blue dot. Properties that have expired is a red square. Properties under contract is a yellow diamond, and green triangle for properties for sale. Fair market value is that red line. Okay. Our property, our subject property, is this one out here on the island by itself. And that's because the square footage. You'll see square footage at the bottom and price on the left. This is telling me that if I just draw this line out and keep going, I don't know why it didn't do it, it puts us somewhere in this vicinity, right? So we're not that far off. You'll see the blue circle just to the left of us. It's a little bit above the line too, right? Blue dot below, blue dot below, blue dot below and above. So right around that fair market red line, we're seeing a lot of either under contract, because the two under contracts are also right around that red line. So if you can get right around that red line, you have a decent shot at it, right? Well, this home isn't too far off, if not for some extenuating circumstances. That lack of a lanai and no pool with a home that size, just it's rather troubling. But this is showing us if this red line kept drawing out, it would sit right around the 575 to 600 mark. You might get 605 if you're lucky, but that's kind of where it's going to come in. Would you be comfortable going 656 if you knew that it should be closer to 600, or would this give you a better guide as to how you're going to offer when you go in to buy it? Or as a seller, would you be more willing to get closer to this number if you knew that's what it took to sell? That's what this is going to do. And this is all data. This is not guessing. This isn't wondering. I am not, throwing something up in the air and see if it's going to come down again. This is real statistics. We're going to use this to help us determine the best route in which to go when purchasing your Florida home. So yes, all that stuff can be found out by researching the data. So you want to make sure that you're researching the data well, or you're working with somebody that does. It's a step that we do with every single property, and we're going to be doing it more and more now that we have this new tool. The next thing you ask is, well, how do I know who to trust? I don't have family and friends there. Other people do. I don't know anybody, so who am I going to ask? Well, you can ask the locals. You can see what they think. I encourage you all the time, if you're going to buy a certain type of property here, go ahead and rent one as an Airbnb or a VRBO first, and that way you'll get an idea of what you're going to get for the money. As far as who to trust, where do most of us start? We start online, right? We do a Google search, give me a realtor in Cape Coral, Florida, or give me a realtor in Florida that sells homes. And you start down that path. Or maybe you were on Zillow, you saw a house that was kind of cool. You said, hey man, I'm going to check in on this one. And you push the button and you got called by 3 different agents. If that's how you picked your agent, well, hopefully it worked out well for you. If it didn't, sorry. And another way is that people, obviously YouTube, it's where you're finding me. And yes, I'm a real estate agent if you haven't got that yet. And I am here to help you in any way I can. So if you need more information, please reach out in any way you like. Call, text, email. I'm good with all of it. We can jump on a Zoom call too if you like. So anyway, people do that Google search. They find somebody they think they can work with. I had a scenario just the other day, in fact. Got a call from David and Brian. They purchased a property here, I believe it was back in 2017, and it was the perfect neighborhood, perfect location for what they wanted, and they wanted to build a home. They even have the builder and the plan that they want, but the agent they bought the land with, they just were not very confident in this person's ability to help them with an actual home sale. And given that I've got the 8 years of new home sales experience, they felt very confident in not only reaching out to me, but asking me to represent them when they went to the builder. So if you're somebody also in the same situation where you need assistance going to a builder, please let me know. It is something that I've done for numerous clients, and we do have a great track record with getting these homes done, getting them done to the buyer's liking, and not having any problems along the way. I go to all the meetings with you, whether it is a pre-construction meeting, whether it is a final walkthrough, and I will help you find deficiencies in the home so that we can make up our own little checklist of things and punch list at the end of the walk that they're going to fix for you before you close. Well, I hope this video gave you everything that you wanted to know about your potential move to Florida. If not, check out one of these other videos. And if that didn't do everything for you, do what everyone else is doing. Call, text, email, Zoom call, use the app, whatever it is. We're here to help because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast.